You know, I like to call him Willie when no one's around. Yeah, just me and Willie hanging out. That doesn't sound right. No.
That's going on the blooper reel.
So.
Good Papa tell Mama.
Wakey, 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 wakey.
Good Papa tell Mama.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Court.
And I'm Paulette.
This is Court Paulette.
Hi, we're Oklahoma. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. So what are we talking about today, Paulette?
We are jumping into Claremore. Hello, Claremore.
Yes.
How are you guys doing? You good out there?
Probably kind of chilly this morning. The wind is blowing.
Got a lot of water in last night from all that rain.
Yeah.
Speaking of water, did you know that Claremore used to really boom in the business of a very, very interesting mineral water there in their town?
Yeah. It was called, they called it radium water. It wasn't actually radium, thank God. It was actually high deposits of salt and
Sulfur.
Sulfur. But it made like it. And here's the thing that gets me. Okay, they find this stuff, it's like black, smells like rotten eggs. And so their thought is, let's jump in.
Let's get in it. No, but for real, they did. And they sold it. And so we're going to jump into that later. But just wanted to start with that radium. So we'll show you a picture of a radium bathhouse that was really booming in Claremore. Yeah. And I mean, on Main Street, you could find tourists back in the day loaded it up in hotels and in the bathhouses that they had featuring radium water.
It's a pretty heaven spot back in the day.
So take a ride with us as we explore Claremore. And now a word from our sponsors.
You'll have any sponsors.
That is, if you'd like to sponsor us, reach out to us.
Yes. Okay. So, a few things about Claremore. It is the county seat of Rutgers County. It was established 33 years prior to the state becoming prior to Oklahoma becoming a state. There you go. And I also noticed it was one of the fastest growing cities in Oklahoma in the early 1900s. It like doubled in population from 1900 to 1910, and then they had doubled again by 1930.
True.
Okay, going from there.
Yeah, I noticed that it said that it was approximately 12 square miles.
Driving through there, it seems like it's, I don't know.
Claremore covers a land area of approximately 12 square miles.
It seems like it, I don't know, that seems like a...
Is that the city of Claremore, maybe?
It just seems like 12 miles just seems awful big. It doesn't seem that big as you drive through it.
See, I thought it felt kind of small, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It didn't feel like, oh, you mean 12 miles?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I also saw where it said it was, just about 29 miles northeast of Tulsa, which I think is just that perfect amount of time in between if you're wanting to live somewhere outside of Tulsa, but close to. And that's why I find like Owasso and Collinsville and Skytook and Claremore, and then you go over on the other side and you've got brain come back.
Broken Arrow.
Yes, Broken Arrow, and it's not Catoosa, it's the other one. Quita! There you are. Join us on the map.
Broken Arrow's almost become their own little hub, though, also.
I know.
They've got
That's true. So I'm just like more. I was really trying to conjure Coweta in there, but
Right.
it wasn't coming. But yeah, even Catoosa, like all these areas, I like these outskirt villages. Uh,
I lived in Catoosa for a while. But no, Catoosa's a really cool place. Blue Whale. Have you ever been there?
mhm.
I've never actually been there. We used to live in Catoosa. We never actually went to the Blue Whale, but been by there many times. One of the features, I guess. I don't know what would you call it, in the attractions, I guess, on Route 66.
Yeah, I remember driving by it when I was a kid. We lived in Delaware, and so we would drive by the Blue Well going home from rodeos, and there would be people swimming in it, and I always just was like, please, Dad, can we stop here? And no, Dad never stopped at the Blue Whale that I can remember. Just like, look, kids, Big Ben.
Yeah.
It was one of those. It was one of those. All my childhood, and then I go and grow up and go over there, and now you can't swim in it.
Right.
You can walk down to it and down in it, and so I was able to take my kids over there so they can check the place out. But I do remember a time when you could drive by there and there were people swimming in it. Dang it! I missed the radium water. I missed the blue whale. Did you get to swim in it?
No, never did. Saying that about the radium water, that actually made Claremore pretty, world famous.
I know.
I mean, literally world famous. There was a princess of Austria actually came to Claremore and stayed at the bathhouse and so used the radium bath for her eczema.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that nuts?
it's crazy how widespread it is. So also about Claremore, some of the famous people, they've got quite a few actually from Claremore. And of course, most well known would be Will Rogers. And we actually went to the Will Rogers, I can talk, home and museum
Yeah,
while we were over there.
we
And,
did.
it was
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
And it was actually, we learned that it's not originally where he was born.
Right, they had to move it up because of the, he was actually born halfway between Umaga and Claremore.
Yeah.
Right over by what's now Umaga Lake.
Right.
And that's why they had to move the house, because they made the dam to start
Yeah.
the lake, and it would have been in the middle of the Umaga Lake, so they had to move it back for 3 miles, 3/4 of a mile.
3/4.
Yeah, something like that.
So just,
However, saying that, we've got some really cool shots. It made an awesome view from the front porch.
Oh, it's beautiful where they moved the house
Yeah.
to. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And there's a bull out there, number 11.
He didn't like it.
Watch out for him when you go out. They got some longhorns that are on the other side of the fence that they're just beautiful creatures, first of all. But yeah, if you try to go to take a picture, number 11, he's feisty.
Yeah. And they had some goats too. Obviously, they weren't fainting goats. Or they weren't scared
They
of me
weren't
anyway.
fainting goats.
Yeah, I tried to.
It's a neat place. I've lived in Oklahoma since I was a little kid. And I've never been there. And it's
No.
quite like the Little House on the Prairie type
really is.
thing,
It really is.
It's what you would imagine in a small little farmhouse. But it's just that you can almost feel the energy of that moment captured in time.
Yeah.
And they've reenacted the rooms,
Well, the house.
staged the rooms.
Right. The house is all original.
Right.
The house itself. And in fact, you can't even go upstairs because they have
Right.
there's a sign there. They're a little bit worried about, construction and stuff. But it's also, the house is staged. There are a few pieces that are original, but most of it's original to the time, not necessarily to the house. But walking in there, it's really cool because, if you've ever been in a house that's over 100 years old, they have a distinct sound when you're walking on the floors. There's a distinct, like you were saying, there's a distinct feel about them. It's really cool. Just the breaking of the boards and all the stuff. And it was really neat.
And there was a piano there that was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that piano was so pretty. I don't think I've ever seen one prettier.
I got a picture of it too.
And they had a clock there that was a mirror, not a clock. It was a mirror.
Yeah.
That was part of the original decor.
Right.
But still, really neat little house, great view, and we might actually have some info. You know, you mentioned something about having the upstairs blocked off because they've kept the house as is. There might be some reconstruction going on.
Yeah, there was definitely something going on the day we were out there.
So you pull out, like, just imagine no one around. It's the house sitting by itself in the pasture.
And we were almost wondering if we were getting ready to drive up into somebody's driveway.
Right. Really wasn't certain if we were at the right place. And we go in, and at first there was another vehicle there with a couple of ladies that had went in, and we walked around the outside of it to take a picture of the view. And then they leave. We go in to look at the house, and the next thing you know, it's like Men in Black.
Yeah, it was like people just started coming from, and they were obviously had something to do with the property. They weren't just like like us just checking out. The first two guys we talked to were really nice. They actually worked. They were part of the Cherokee Nation that actually now owns the house, and they were talking to us. They were really nice guys, and telling us a bit about some of the history and some of the pieces and stuff. And then next thing you know, this lady comes walking in, and she sees us, and she's, "Oh, we were watching the video, I think, at the time." She's, "Oh, are y'all watching the video?" Yeah. Okay. She turns around and walks out. And so we're sitting there and we're watching the video, and I kind of happen out of the corner, I see somebody else walk by outside. And then out of the corner on this side, I see somebody else walk by, and I'm like, what's going on? And by the time we go outside, there was probably, 7 or 8 people out there on the front porch all just kind of
staring. You know what, I'll tell you what, between the fact that we heard the ghost sirens when we went and did the Mullendore story, and then the Men in Black here at Will Rogers, I think we'll be a follow. What's next? I mean, every time we go somewhere, something weird happens.
Right. Oh, yeah. We haven't even got to the weird. We haven't even got to the weird yet, Claremore.
Oh no, we haven't.
So, a couple things about Will Rogers. Like I said, he was born halfway between Earlyville and Claremore. Claremore was his hometown, as they call it. He was started out as a vaudeville performer doing rope tricks. And then, of course, everybody knows he went on to become a well-known six-tierist. So, yeah, we've got some couple of videos and pictures of Will Rogers. And then, so do we want to do the quotes now?
Yeah, let me start with the quotes with Will Rogers and talking about the radium water and the radium bathhouses. We haven't shown you some photos. We're going to. Not what you just saw. And... see that. Okay. And so with that, Will Rogers backed these bathhouses, and he was quoted to saying the water would cure you of everything except being a Democrat.
It's really good political quotes.
There are a lot of political quotes. One of the ones that I do like that is not political. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today.
In all of your life, you will never find a method more effective in getting through to another person than to make that person feel important.
Okay. I came across one. The man who never makes a mistake must get tired of doing nothing. The only thing that I don't like about that is it says the man, and dang it, William.
Well, now this was back in the 30s, so yeah. Probably my absolute favorite. Well, I have two. My first favorite one is, "When I die, I want to die like my grandfather, who died peacefully in his sleep." not screaming like all the passengers in his car.
You know, the funny one is I've heard that one before, but I
I
didn't
did.
really realize that it was him, I don't think. There was another one that I had seen. If you want to be successful, it's really this simple. Know what you're doing, love what you're doing, and believe in what you are doing. And then while you're still looking, maybe I was holding it. I like this one too. There are 3 kinds of men. The one that learn by reading, the few who learn by observation, and the rest of them that have to pee on the electric fence for themselves.
That's good. Yeah. Well,
But dang it, see, okay, this goes back into, okay, male, why can't we be included in this? But, or maybe because it doesn't really pertain to us, because I could be all 3 of those. So yeah, it really doesn't pertain to them, and that's why I said it about me.
okay.
I can excuse it if we're looking at it like that.
Okay.
You guys have to pick a lane, and we can go in and out.
Right. Well, I couldn't find the exact quote, but I do remember it. It was, they say all dogs go to heaven, and if they don't, I want to go wherever they went.
So which type of man are you?
I usually have to pee on the electric fence.
Do you?
Yeah. Actually, unfortunately, I'll probably pee on that sucker 2 or 3 times before I
I
find
mean,
it.
but don't you think that you're going to read about it and then you're going to watch someone else do it,
Well,
and then
yeah.
you're still probably going to try it, maybe? Have you done it?
Sometimes-
Have you peed on a fit?
Okay, so here's the thing. Sometimes it's not in that order.
Right.
So sometimes it's like, you pee on the fence and then you go back and like, why did it hurt? And then
And
there's
then you read it.
other times that you see somebody pee on the
And
fence,
then-
and then after you get through laughing your ass off, you think, well, why did that happen? So you go back and do the research, and then
Right.
you
The
have to find out for yourself.
observation could be after you've already learned the lesson yourself, and now you're watching someone else learn theirs as
Right.
well.
Right. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, you're wrong, Will. I'm sorry, world. I'm sorry I said that.
So anyway,
I take it back. Not my favorite quote.
so there were some other famous people from Claremore. Somebody that you found out about.
Actually, yes. And I just want to say that, all jokes aside, like, a lot of respect in all the people we're talking about, anytime we're talking
Oh, yeah.
about them. So if anyone takes offense at me saying Will Rogers is wrong, then, I don't know.
I gotta say, I don't think you care.
I hope not. I mean, you can't be right about everything, right? Not everything. Close
He's
to
actually
everything.
got a quote about that too, about being right all the
Okay.
time.
Side to the next set of papers that I have here, Coy. Oh, we're going to talk about. Did you guys know anything about? What do you know about Belle Starr? What do you know about Belle
I
Starr?
know that she was a bad Mama Gemma.
She sure was.
Married a couple different outlaws. Was an outlaw in her own right. That's about it though.
She was. She ran around with Billy the Kid, Jesse James. Did you know? Here's an interesting thing. She was married prior to becoming a star. Her first husband was killed.
Literally and figuratively.
Literally. Right.
Sorry.
Let you go. And so in 1866, let me go back here. Supposedly, like, her daughter Pearl had been fathered by Cole Younger,
Oh yeah.
because she ran with the Younger gang too for some time, but she wasn't raised by Cole Younger. It was Jim Reed, supposed to be, and that was her first husband. But Jim Reed was an outlaw, and so they had these kids. Jim and or Ed and Pearl. And then Jim gets gunned down, and Belle goes on for the next 6 years of her life as a widow, and she ends up meeting up with Sam Starr, who was the gang that her husband Jim was in when he found his death sentence. So it's just kind of interesting that she
Right.
takes up with the gang leader of the gang that, I guess it makes sense, ones you're closest to oftentimes in that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she becomes Belle Starr. And she ends up dying here. Supposedly, like, her death is still unsolved.
Oh, really?
After her second husband dies, she found a third companion. And this is the best part. Maybe this is why there's so much information in the Belle Starr story. So this is the second Jim. This is where I got confused a moment ago. His name was Jim July. This is her third companion. Okay, third husband. He's Creek Indian. He was 15 years younger than her. This one
Still got a
doesn't
group
say it, but Jim July was like a distant relative of Sam Starr. He was like his
Really?
great nephew or something like that, or nephew or great, cousin or third cousin divided,
Twice so
subtracted, twice removed, plus two. But Jim ended up taking the Starr last name, and he became Jim July Starr.
Yes.
But he believes that it was back when they had tried to figure out who had killed her. He believed that it was the neighbor whom they had been feuding with, but no one was ever convicted of the crime.
It's funny that
But I mean, he took her last name. It could have been him.
True. It's funny you say that about all the people she ran with, because, like, in the movies and stuff, like, there's a movie about the James gang and the Denver gang with what's his name?
So I want to go back to that. So a member of his own gang from the Starr gang killed him, and then she married the head of that gang.
I mean, maybe she had limited choices. I don't know.
Oh, it's crazy. So nuts. But she was, anyway, so with that, I want to tell you about one of her sons, because really this was really more about her son than it was about her. But I was just like, wow, her death is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's what an outlaw life. And I mean, we're looking at the 1880s here, not like in 1869, like not 1990s and 1969. Just running around on horses, stealing cows and horses and being thieves and outlaws, man, like real deal bandit.
Yeah.
In fact, she was known as the Bandit Queen for several years until her husband died, until Sam died, or not Sam, Jim number one. But so Belle had these kids. Pearl, so her son Ed, he started life off hard and was doing all the bad stuff, but then he decided to change himself, and he turned state's evidence. And I don't know if this was because his sister had he'd gotten arrested, and then she went and started prostituting herself. Pearl, damn it. Pearl, don't do that. She started prostituting herself to try to get her brother out of jail. And then he turned state's evidence. So he gets out and he becomes a deputy marshal. And in the time of him being a deputy marshal, there was a gang, or there were these brothers called the Crittenden. Am I saying that right, Coy?
Sure.
Oh, you're not going to see it on that. It's not written down. Crittenden. I believe I should have probably wrote it down. Maybe I did. No, I don't think I did. Crittenden. It is written down. Crittenden. Yeah. Crittenden.
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 That's a heck of a name.
Crittenden. I mean, like, do you like pronounce it? Crittenden? Crittenden. Okay. Barely.
1895 is probably something like.
Yeah. In 1895. So
You
like now he's the deputy sheriff marshal, and he guns down the Crittenden brothers, which were like they had been taking up Claremore and pretty much owning the town and had everybody living in fear. Mm-hmm. And then in 1896, Marshal Ed Reed, in December, was killed in Claremore at a saloon. So check it out. He gets a little power, you know. He gets a little notary for being an outlaw turned good. He's maybe the town hero.
Right.
And for whatever reason, why he was, getting drunk. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm going to jump from here to current times. I don't know how many bars are in Claremore right now, but I know that, like back in the 90s, you really didn't find that many bars really in that area. And so this kind of explains it, but so it goes on to say that Reed had come into town one night and he's drunk and he's got his pistol out and he's shooting up the sky and he goes in the saloon and he starts giving the owner and the bartender a hard time and ends up getting the marshal, the sheriff marshal on duty, whatever he is, arrested him. And arrested him. He took him in, and Reed promised he would go home if they just let him go instead of sleeping it off in the jail. Just let him go home and sleep it off, And so the marshal testified that he watched him leave till he could see him no longer on the outskirts of town, and then went back to his business until they heard gunshots again, and Reed had made his way back into town and had called out the owner and bartenders and was shooting at him from across the street. And both the bartender and the owner shot back. One of them hit Reed and one of them did not. I'm not sure if it's in this story or if another one that I read, but you gotta look this up. So one of the guys that shot his gun was so, just everything going on that his gun shot and went into the floor and into the wall. Like they didn't even leave the bar.
Yeah. They
were right there. Like he just was like, wall, boom, down in the floor. And then the other guy that shot, he hit him I guess he hit him right in the side. He hit him twice. And the second one dropped him to his knees, basically. One was in his neck and the other one was in his side. And so the marshal and his deputy come running. That's when everybody stopped. That's when the gunfiring stopped, when he dropped his knees. And they drug Reed from in front of the saloon to the post office. Or the drugstore, sorry. There's so many key places in this town.
Yeah.
To the drugstore, which was like a block away. So Corey and I went and drove this place out the other day. And we're going to show you some of these pictures.
Real quick, one thing that I did read about that.
Yeah.
The way I understood it, he watched him leave town, and then the sheriff, and he went back to town. The way I read it, it was just a few minutes. So it was almost like he got just out of sight.
Yeah.
And just kind of
It was like, wait a minute. Hell with that. I'm going back there. Like, he made a bad decision. And yeah, you're right. Anyway,
when we were driving around.
We know, but the maps of it's downtown.
Yeah.
Like it's down there in Claremore, and the place where Reed ultimately took his last breath was in the drugstore. That's now a bank, I believe.
I think if
the way we could
it's kind of hard.
map out.
We going through the story, and there's a little map that will show you
Mhm.
too. Going off all that, we think we're
Mhm.
really close to where everything went down. And if
Uh-huh.
it's so, then it's where the RCD bank
Uh-huh.
is where he would have actually died.
Right.
But we think we know where he was actually shot to.
Right. And the saloon, real creepy. So on my GPS, it shows you, you can see the 3D visions of of your landscape and the buildings. And there's this building coming up. Okay, we don't even have an address in it because we're trying to go off of the map from these images we have that are printed off. So we're just going off of printed off old school maps.
Yes.
And there's this building that's glitching on my GPS, and that was where we drove to. That was the building we were going to where he got shot.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was a trip.
It was a trip, and we drove around, and we tried driving to couple different areas, different directions and stuff, because we thought maybe it's like the road was behind the building. We thought maybe that was causing it to glitch out, but there was another one right here that's doing the same thing, and nothing. It was just that building, and it was also showing it as like a taller building.
Yeah, I was showing it as a taller building.
Yeah.
So like it was glitching out on like a ghost building.
Yeah,
basically.
it was crazy.
And it was the only one in the area. Again, just the GPS on with no set directions anywhere. And this building's like before we even figure out we're driving towards it, that's where we're going to. I'm like, do you see that building on my map glitching out like that? That's weird. And then we drive to it. I go, what the heck? It's weird. It was weird, to say the least. But anyway, so I just thought it was real interesting that, Belle Starr and her son were both killed. That's not great.
Interesting, but
It's not great, but we do have history here that includes some outlaws and some good people, and I don't know why he would have done that. I don't know what him and the owner of the bar had going on. Maybe he thought because he was a marshal, he should get drinks on the house. And the owner was like, not this time, Reed. You still owe me, 30 pieces of silver. I don't know what the case was. And Reed was like, that's horse. I don't know what they say. Swabble owner Gibbs because I won fair square in a poker match. I don't know. Like, we don't know what happened. What went on there?
I don't know. I like your story there. Let's write that down. We can make a movie out of that. That's pretty good.
So, yeah, Belle Starr's son was killed in Claremore. At the drugstore is where he died, which is now, we think, the bank.
Yes. So it's not all outlaws and
As presented here.
in-laws and outlaws and bad guys and stuff that are from Claremore. We also have a astronaut. What's that?
Did you hear it?
No, I just saw you like staring off into the abyss for a second.
Oh, I heard something in the chimney.
Oh, it's probably the wind.
Yeah, probably so. That's not true.
But yes, we
Oh,
have
it's that table. That's what it was.
Oh, that was me. I bumped it.
Okay.
We have a true, real, honest to goodness NASA astronaut, Stuart Allen Rusa. I hope I'm saying that right. Born in Claremore. Actually, no, that's a lie. He was born in Durham, Colorado, moved to Claremore, and graduated from Claremore High School. He also went to Oklahoma State University and University of Arizona and the University of Colorado. He was a pilot, and then he went on to become a test pilot for Edwards Air Force Base. And then NASA selected him as an astronaut. He was on He was part of the crew of the Apollo 14, the third lunar landing mission. Well, it's Apollo 14. He's command module pilot. He was backup pilot for Apollo 16 and 17. And then he participated in all the space shuttle programs up until his retirement in 76. After he retired, he was involved in, can you guess?
What?
Real estate.
Okay. Dang it, I should have known that.
Yeah, and until he passed in 1994, December 12th, and was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. But yeah, really cool.
That is cool. Another person, I know we're getting ready to talk a little bit and highlight a lovely lady, but
Yes.
before we do, wanted to mention the author of Green Grows the Lilacs, which the musical Oklahoma was adapted by Lynn Riggs, is
Yes.
also
Fitting for today.
a Claremore native.
Winds whipping down the plains.
That's true. You were just talking about Oklahoma, the musical, the song.
Yeah.
Before we got on camera. Yeah. And another thing is, okay, let's go to Patty.
Yes, let's talk about Patty.
Let's talk about Patty. Patty Page.
I'll let you go first.
Heard once that my kids, their dad's side of the family is related to Patty Page. I don't know if that's true, but she was born Clara Ann Fowler, so maybe so. Yeah. In 1927. Or November 8th. What would that make her? Scorpio? It's all about her.
So she started singing in her teens at the Tulsa radio station.
KTUL.
Yes. And this is cool. Her stage name, Paige, she got that from one of the program sponsors, Paige Milk Company. Yeah.
So when I was a little kid, we went and did some radio interviews at KVOO, and I think that they were all like intertwined, KTUL and KVOO. Yeah. So yeah, I read where she signed with Mercury Records. I can't talk today. In 1947. She was born in 1927. She was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Signed her first record deal. And then that made her their first successful female artist, and she broke her first single as a 21-year-old girl.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
She also...
And then went on for 6 decades.
Right. And doing different genres of music also. She did country and like popular music too. Yeah. She was also had the first song that ever used overdubbing, where she overdubbed her own voice and made it sound like it was a singing group instead of.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, so
good for her.
Pioneered that.
Nice.
And then her song "Tennessee Waltz" was the largest selling single in country music history.
And it is still recognized as one of the official songs of the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it spent 13 weeks atop the Billboard's bestseller list back in 1950, 1951. I think that's nuts. But, yeah. And she also did movies.
Yes.
The girl went on to do a lot of stuff.
She was also, back in the day, a lot of the country singers had their own, like, TV variety shows on prime time. She was one of. I've read 2 different things. I've seen one thing that said she was the first female to have her own variety show, and then I saw that she was like, there's like some discrepancy. There might have been one other lady that actually started before, but she's one of the first ladies to have a variety show of her own, female lead variety show. And she's also the all-time best-selling female artist in American popular music history.
For sure. I imagine so. Says I was looking back on some of her early life, and there were 11 children. 3 boys and 8 girls. Did you know this?
Yes, I did read that.
Good gravy, man. They picked cotton. They had no electric. You know, this kind of reminds me of like some of those other Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn stories. Yeah.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah. And freaking just, I read on one of these that she had sold by 1950 something. I gotta find it, boy, because you know I'm in a band, a couple of bands, and this chick had sold so many records at a certain year that I was like, how is that even possible that you could do that back then?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I've got to I don't want to misquote the numbers, so I've got to, and I'm jumping through a lot of this information that we were going to. And you know, she's the one who did How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Yeah.
1953. So 1927, 1953. What's the math on that? She's 26. Uh-oh. That's my madre.
Time out.
Time out. And we're back. Hey, if you were there just a second ago, that was my mommy calling. I needed to take that, so we had to pause for a second. So we were talking about Patty, and I was trying to find a date a number of how many records she had sold by a certain date. It was like 1956, and she had sold like almost 1 million records. And I'm like, that is just, it's mind-boggling that back that far, you know, numbers were being done like that. So,
Yeah, because
anyway, I can't find it now. You know?
That was literally what you would hear on the radio and going to the record store and getting a record. I mean, there was no.
Now, these were pressed records.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There was no, what was that? CD among the CD club that everybody in America still has money to.
Yeah, exactly. Million selling single. Actually, it was 1950, and it was her second. It was her second song. So she signed with Mercury Records in 1947. She was 20. She had her first million selling single in 1950 with "My Eyes Wide Open, My Darling," what it was titled, and that's. Can you imagine being just this young Claremore, radium, bathhouse living girl?
Sorry.
Working at the local drugstore, 5 and dime.
I think the radio made it. It was what gave her singing talent.
Might have. She had like her 8th million selling single in 1952. By 1952, she had her 8th million selling single. And then in 1951, she covered a song by Doris Day.
Okay.
And sold over 1 million copies.
Wow. What I thought was interesting is the timeline of all this stuff. She had the variety show was going at the same time that a couple of her records had come out. At the same time, she was in a couple of movies. I mean, the timeline, she was doing all this stuff all at the same time. I mean, it wasn't like she sang for a little while and then she went to TV for a while and then she was doing all this stuff all at the same time. So
yeah. It says on another one, the next single, Mockingbird Hill, which is a cover of the original by Les Paul and Mary Ford. And it was her 4th million seller. And then she had three more hits in 1951. all of this is like in 1 year, this girl gets like 7 million selling hits.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see, as a musician myself in a band, I'm in a couple of bands and we play a lot of original music, and like to see that her songs that are covers, were pushing over in the top million hits.
Yeah. Very talented.
It makes me go, yay for you, but at the same time, but her talent was her singing, so that's what she made her career on, was singing. So I can almost, overlook that they're covers in that aspect, but moving on, she had her own hits, so I can accept it. Tennessee Waltz was, though, it is still, you still find her music along with Tennessee Waltz being played to this day on many playlists everywhere. Paige had 3 husbands. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, she was married 3 times. First time she got married was in 1948. So, I came in and swept her off her feet before she was even, 21.
About the time of her first one.
Yeah. Moved to New York, but then she asked for and received a no-fault divorce. He was a student from the University of Wisconsin. His name is Jack Skiba. Kind of sounds skeevish, doesn't it?
Skibbity-doo.
But they ended up getting a divorce within the year, so she caught on quick. And then she married a guy named Charles O'Curran, and he was a choreographer in 1956. That one already says it's not going to end well.
Let's go with the backup answer.
Yeah. And it says O'Curran, where to go, I just lost my page, been married to actress Betty Hutton before Patty. And so Patty and O'Curran adopted a son, Danny, and a daughter. And then they divorced. So she was married to him, that's in 1956, and they divorced in 72. So 16 years, not too bad, not bad of a run. And then her last marriage was to Jerry Feliciato.
Good job.
Thank you. In 1990. And they owned a maple syrup business named the Farm at Woods Hill in Bath, New Hampshire, and they resided in Solona Beach, California. And he died like it says, Feliciato died April 18th, 2009. So, I mean, that's a long time to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad was born in 1925, and he made it to 2000. So, 2009 from 1927. That's a long time. I stopped. She went on to January 1st, 2013 in California. She was 85 years old.
So nowadays,
What a long life.
Yeah.
Maple syrup. Like when I read that, I was like, oh, she like lived the rock and roll lifestyle. She lived country, like she did all those pop and those different genres, went out and toured with, she got to hang out with a whole bunch of great bands and artists, and meet a lot of cool people in her lifetime, and then did all these great albums, did these great movies, these autobiographies that she's got.
All from little old Claremore, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. She's got a filmography. She had the Patty Page show. The Patty Page Oldsmobile show. Did you know about that? She was in What's My Line. She was in Blue Hawaii. She's got her own concert series in 2005. It was an in-concert series featuring
And that's
Patty Page.
Pretty cool. 2005.
So that was so very cool.
She was in her close to her 70s then.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
We honor all of these people that come out of Claremore, and they live on because we get to share their stories.
For sure.
And so, as we wrap up here, I think we should go back to Claremore.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a home sitting over radium water, look no further.
Well,
You got what you need.
Right. So Claremore now, population of 19,580. They are, cost of living is 0.8% times lower than the national average. The main campus of RSU is there. Claremore Indian Hospital is over there. Will Rogers Downs, Will Rogers Museum, the J.M. Davis Gun Museum, and probably the most important business establishment in Claremore, Taco Tico, is still open in Claremore. Every time I get to Claremore,
Taco Tico
they pull me
is
over
bomb.
for that stop in town. It's that serious.
We literally were over in Claremore
I know.
the other day. We didn't say anything about Taco Tico. I don't know that I would have stopped because we were working.
Oh my God.
That's right, and there's that too. But yeah, this is my life. Look, papers there, right here. We got some there. You're holding a bunch. Where are we at? Yeah, so I did some market analysis over there in Claremore, and it looks like the average house is running about $247,000 in Claremore right now. So
It's a little bit lower than like Wausau and
Mhm.
Tulsa. So,
mhm.
and they're nice houses.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I also read, I don't know if you just said it because you just inputted a lot of information, but if you didn't, the population was about 20,638, and it's a 1.24% increase annually is what they're seeing.
Yeah. Which goes back to the old days where they were doubling in size like every 10 years.
I love seeing cities build and expand and flourish and bring in the community and make it stronger, the core. But, there's something to be said watching the forest get cut down and watching animals lose their natural habitat. I took a picture once in Bartsville, where Lowe's is, and they were just starting to put in that area where they have the dog park and stuff, and the skate park. And right across the road, they had started putting up, there was construction vehicles, and they had cleared all the trees right there. There was a mom and her baby doe standing in the middle of these machinery and these big dump vehicles and bulldozers and piles of rock and rubble, and there they were standing there, and it was just I felt like I was in Africa taking a picture of a little baby child that was left to starve to death. That was how so sad
Right.
it was. That moment.
Yeah. Chicks, man. Yeah.
It was sad.
I get your point. Yes, that is.
Oh, you're like, oh, that's good eats right there.
Not gonna lie, that didn't cross my
Horrible.
mind. So, with Claremore, we've got some listings of it. Not
Yeah, we do.
us personally.
We would love to have your listing in Claremore.
For sure.
We won't tell them about the radium wall when we sell your home.
Right.
but neither of us have listings in Claremore right now. But we do have a sister office there.
Yes.
Keller Williams does, and we do have some phenomenal realtors in both offices that do have listings
Yes.
in Claremore, and we wanted to give them all shout outs.
Yes.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
So let's start on actually I just talked to this lady just the other day. Holly Belay. Actually I say that and I lost her. There it is. She's got it listing on 1004 West Missouri Avenue. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's listed at $285 and it's got 1,600. That's not right. Yeah, 1,606 square feet and built in 2015.
Nice. So if you're interested in that, reach out. We're going to have this up. This is up,
Yeah.
running, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next up on the list, 2709 Stone Creek Drive, Claremore, Oklahoma. This is a 2-bath. Where's the bedrooms? 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. 2,100 square feet. Built in 2023, and they're asking $315. And that's with our good friend Jackie Shields.
We got Jenny Harmon, who's out of the Claremore office. 3306 Harbor Town Place in Claremore. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath on it's 0.17 acres. Sorry, 2,400 square feet, and built in 2024. And that one's listed at $455,000.
And speaking of Jenny, she's actually got one right next door to it. This must be a new little community that was built
that
in
must be.
Claremore in 2024, because this is like just one 3304 Harbor Town Place. So if you're looking for a new home that was recently constructed in the price range of about $450,000 to $500,000, Harbor Town Place might be the street for you. Jenny Harmon.
Yes. Next on Hickory Drive, 13412 Hickory Drive. Miss Ronica Warden. She has a 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath, 3,748 square feet. That's a big house. Built in 2005, and it is listed currently for $529,000.
Trina Pope from Keller Williams Premier. Hey. 621 West 18th Street, Claremore. She's got this house listed. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, built in 1987, 2,400 plus square feet, almost 2,500, 2,478 square feet. Asking $299,900.
Jackie Shields has another one. 1715 West Blue Star Drive in Claremore. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2,300 square feet, 2,355 to be exact. Built in 2019, and it is listed at $394,500.
And then we're going over to Kevin Abbott, 3203 Callaway Drive, with a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that was built in 1996. It's cute on the outside. Looks like it's brick. Looks like it's a 2-car garage, maybe 3. 3,133 square feet. That's a lot of space.
Big house too.
And they're asking $457,000. I want to go look at this house. That is definitely a 3-car garage. And I'm so sorry I keep turning around. We have a floor vent over here, and I hear like something.
So we've got 1112 West 20th Street in Claremore, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,536 square feet, built in 1980, for $263,000. That was listed by Miss Ronica Warden also.
Nice. And then we're going to jump down to, I'll let you do that last one. I want to do this one. You didn't do this one. 321 East Patty Page Boulevard. You didn't do that one either. Boom. Hey, we just talking about her. She got her own street. There's a home on it. 2 bedrooms. That was 2 bedrooms, 3 baths for $260,000, built in 1950, sitting on about a quarter acre of land, a little under 1,500 square feet. I'm very intrigued. We should go look at it. Built in 1950. So she was just in her 20s then, early, wasn't even her 20s yet. I wonder if the street, when are they dubbed it Patty Page?
Oh, good question. However, in that time of 1950, she could have come home to Claremore for the holidays or something and seen this house being built or drove right by this house.
Oh, did she leave after she was born?
Well, she said they ended up in New Hampshire or something.
Oh, after she got married.
Right. I was just assuming she came back to Claremore once in a while.
Oh, that's right, because in 1948 she got married. Yep. And that is by Veronica Warden, also out of the Keller Williams Premier Office.
If you would like to take a look at any of these or any other house in the area, please give us a call.
Yes.
Sorry. The other thing we do besides this awesome podcast.
Mhm. And those are other associates that we all know, that we both know and trust and work with, and would love to help you find your dream home. So give us a phone call. And if you're interested in listing your home, any one of us would make an excellent realtor for you. So I always suggest call and talk to it, just like you would a doctor. If you're going into a doctor for surgery, you get a couple of opinions.
For sure.
It's always good to talk to a couple of different professionals in any field of whatever it is that you're about to invest money in, and so do your homework.
Well, the thing about it is you have to trust and be able to get along with your realtor, and
Trust.
not all personalities work well together, and so sometimes you just have to find the right person that fits what you need in a real estate agent. So.
Right. And what you need in a real estate agent is someone that's got your investments as a priority. Happy hunting.
Yes.
Next, and then we're done.
I think
Yes?
we're done.
Are we done? Things to do in Claremore.
Oh, yeah. We're
Things
not
to do
done.
in Claremore.
We are not done.
All right. So, I mean, we know of a couple of things to do in Claremore, but just to go beyond our scope to see what all we could find out, I pulled up TripAdvisor.
Nice.
So, you want to name off some of the things that you know off the bat, and I'll just go down the list as you name them off, or do you want me to go down this list?
It doesn't matter. I will say that the JM or JW Davis, JM Davis Gem Museum, that's been there for many, many years. I've been by there many, many times. I've seen the sign, and I have never been there. And that's one place that we're gonna have to go over there and check it out, because that's one thing that I've always wanted to do over there in Claremore, and I just never have taken the time to do it.
It says it's the world's largest privately held firearms collection.
Yeah.
More than 12,000 firearms from 1350 to today.
Yeah. And so that's one thing that I know is over there, because it's one thing I've wanted to do for many, many moons, but I just never have taken the time to do it.
Well, you know what? That pops up as number 2 as top 15 things to do. That comes up as number 2. Number 1 is the Will Rogers Memorial Museum. Of course, that's highlighted, and you learn about all of that American history there, and you laugh, and you will be inspired by Will's journey. There's also the Belvedere Mansion. Have you ever been there? I have not either. So it says here by some note, As it turns out, the entire lower floor of the mansion is the Pink House. Look up the history of the restaurant. I don't even know what this means, but it's a very cool looking mansion, and it's pretty.
Yeah.
We should go check that out.
I've heard it's really nice.
Belvedere. I wonder if there's like a hidden staircase behind the grandpa clock. Claremore Lake,
Yes.
always a good place to go.
Yes.
It says that there's a park on the west side of the lake, and that has water play area with the splash pad, and there's a walking trail and fishing spots. And then the east side is pretty cool too.
That's nice. Doesn't it?
There's the Claremore Museum of History. You know, we've went to the history museums in both Owasso and Bartlesville. I guess we should go to the Claremore one.
Yeah, I don't know why we
Mm-hmm.
were busy chasing down the glitching building the other day, but
There's also the Lynn Riggs Memorial that we could
Yes.
go to, which is full of Claremore history as well, from what I understand. There's the Claremore Mountain Bike Trails. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
And I see water.
Is that over by the lake?
It's a trail system, yeah. It must be right off the lake. Look that up. If you like horses. that was your cue. If you like horses, there's Will Rogers Downs.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I do like horses. Yeah. And that's on the road to Pryor, right?
Yes, ma'am. Just right outside of town.
CJ and I went to some horse races last spring, but we went to Tulsa.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about going towards Claremore.
I've been to Tulsa a long time ago. Had a blast. I could definitely see how a person can get addicted to gambling on horse races. But yeah, Claremore, I'd always kind of wanted to go check it out. If never done it.
The Expo Center. Did you
Yes.
know that?
I've been there actually.
And the
times.
parking's free. Red Bud Bay
I did not know about that.
out there at Uluga Lake itself. It's got the Red Bud Bay. Is pretty cool. If you've got a sailboat, it's a good place to take your sailboat. They got the Red Bud Marina out there, and you go eat out there
Oh, yeah,
and enjoy
yeah.
some live music by some of our good friends. The Red Bud Bandits. They play out there. I already read those.
That's a
And
good
then-
thing.
Huh?
That's a good thing. That's awful cool that their name.
Uh-huh. Plus, bandits, outlaws, all that kind of tie it all together. The Nut House is a specialty gift
I
shop.
thought we were. Oh, that house.
Shame on you, Corey. Shame. First opened over 40 years ago, selling only native pecans. Since that time, the business has grown into a full-time endeavor, serving individual customers and businesses with nuts, fudge, and all sorts of other great goodies.
All right, we're gonna have to go to Claremore.
Yeah. And then there's the water park at the Claremore Public Park. There's Cat Creek Dog Park.
The Cat Creek.
Yep.
Cat. Oh.
I can't make this up. It's on the list. And I asked for the top 15 places, and at the end of the top 15 things to do in Claremore. And at the end of 15, I was like, show me more. So it gave me all the way up to, I stopped at 19 things to do in Claremore. But at number 14, what do you think number 14 is?
I have no idea after the cat dog. There's no telling.
It's Cat Creek
Cat Creek.
Dog Park.
Dog park. Cat dog. I don't know. But
Coming in at number 14 is the Walmart Supercenter.
that's the.
make it up on TripAdvisor.
Well, it must be true.
That's the truth. Number 15 is the Claremore gazebo at the park. So I like a good gazebo, picture moments, and all that good stuff. And Walmart Supercenter came in higher than that.
How the heck?
I don't know. Cabin Boys Brewery came in at 16. Shame on you guys for putting Walmart Supercenter up there higher than the brewery. But speaking of Cabin Boys Brewery,
Yeah.
we got to go back to Claremore. Rainbow Art Post. So, for visitors to the area, the Art Post features a gallery with exhibits pertinent to the art movement in Northeast Oklahoma. The store also houses art supplies, a gift shop, and art classes. Very cool. You should look that up. How did that come in under the Walmart Supercenter? Serious. There's a roller world.
Roller World? Oh,
Yeah.
like
There's
roller
a
skate.
roller world party center, and it came in as number 18. Walmart Supercenter, be out roller world. Boy,
I think there was.
don't understand it.
I think there was some ballot rigging by Walmart.
Swan Brothers
I did.
Dairy. Also, number 19 is the bar stop.
Oh yeah! Holy cow! I remember being a kid. We went over there to the dairy and got like fresh milk and stuff every once in a while. And wow, I forgot all about that.
Point of Walmart being in.
Wow, I completely forgot about that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, there you go,
So are we done?
I suppose.
I think we're done.
So I think what we were going to do is, now that we've done a look in the past of how Claremore came about, like now we're going to go and tour the city a little bit more.
Sure.
We've mentioned some modern day what's going on, things to do in Claremore, and I think we're going to jump in and maybe go talk to some people who want to,
I'm down. Let's go.
and interview some people.
Let's go
and-
talk to the bar.
Okay. And catch up on what's happened in Claremore since the 1950s.
Again, sounds good.
All right then, to be continued.
Great.